This is the last time you saw convicted child murderers Rex and Rebecca Clark.
I didn't touch you. Everybody back up, please.
Back up, everybody. Back up, please.
The two had just been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And this is what the two look like now, 5 years later. These are the most up-to-date mugshots available from the Department of Corrections.
I could hear them screaming at him and beating on him.
TJ Sloan describes the last time he ever saw his little brother, Colton Clark, alive.
Colt's standing there. He's black and blue. They're beating on him.
TJ, who went by Homer Clark at the time, and Colton were placed in the care of their aunt and uncle, Rebecca and Rex, in 2003. TJ was 9 and Colton just 7.
In those few days, it was a lifestyle that we thought we would enjoy. Rex and Becky treated us well.
But TJ says something changed shortly after Rex and Rebecca formally adopted the brothers.
It went from day and night. It was totally different life. We kind of became their personal little slaves.
Hit with brooms and canes, whipped with extension cords, slapped, punched, and kicked, electrocuted with a cattle prod, even forced to drink their own urine.
I wore glasses when I was younger, and my face would be so swollen from being hit and slapped that I couldn't put my glasses on my face.
Signs of something wrong clearly visible in this school photo of Colton. Bruises on his arms and face. The Clarks pulled the boys out of school soon after.
Colt Clark disappeared from his home around 1:30 Thursday. Police weren't notified until after 9.
In the spring of 2006, Colton is reported missing.
For the last 24 hours, from the air and on the ground, deputies, DAs, and volunteers from Seminole and Hughes counties searched more than 200 acres around Colt's home.
The search would lead to nothing.
They killed him.
We had a sense that there was more than what Homer could tell us.
Seminole County District Attorney Paul Smith, who was a lawyer in the office at the time, remembers speaking to TJ shortly after Colton went missing.
It's hard to talk about because you wanted justice so bad for TJ, for Colton.
But with no sign of Colton and no one admitting anything, the case eventually went cold. A few months later, TJ ran away from the Clarks and his life of abuse.
I either sit there in that house and let them beat me to death, or I run away and give myself some slim chance of making it out of that hellhole.
He would eventually be adopted into a loving family where he relocated to Tennessee. TJ said he told law enforcement the truth about his brother, but more than 5 years later, nothing happened. Over that time, TJ would still search his brother's name online. One day, he saw a report that investigators wanted to reopen Colton's case. They wanted to speak with Homer, but they didn't know where he was or that he had changed his name to TJ.
This is going to bother me the rest of my life if I don't at least try. Just one more time. It will probably add up to nothing.
Finally, 10 years later, in 2016, Rex and Rebecca Clark arrested and charged for multiple counts of child abuse and the murder of their nephew. Now District Attorney Smith says there were challenges in the case. The biggest, there was no body. Smith recalls a conversation that Rex had with investigators after being arrested.
He said, "You're never going to find him." Laughing, "You're never going to find Colton Clark."
Still, the case moved forward, and after a 2-week trial, the jury reached a verdict in about 2.5 hours.
Guilty. 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 5 counts of guilty.
Finally, justice for little Colton all those years later. Rex and Rebecca Clark sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Do you remember what Rex said to you as he was exiting the court?
I do. He turned around and looked at me and said, "Don't worry, I'll live to on your grave."
Despite the successful conviction, the one question that still remains, what happened to little Colton's body? It's a question I asked them as they were being led away to prison.
Where's Colton, buddy?
What's your side?
Sweetheart, give me a little kiss. I didn't touch you. Everybody back up, please.
What a lunatic the guy was. What a, just evil monster he was. Push someone up against the wall and make a creepy comment, "Why don't you just give me a little kiss?" The guy's head is so far gone.
Rex and Rebecca Clark are serving their sentences in different facilities in the state. They lost an appeal of their conviction in 2019. Shortly after the trial, the community held a vigil for Colton in his honor.
That's the closest thing he ever had to a proper funeral.
In Smith's office, he has a quote from Winnie the Pooh, which he used during the trial to illustrate what the brothers went through.
If there comes a day we can't be together, keep me in your heart. I'll stay there forever.
After the trial, TJ moved from Tennessee back to Seminole, where he would eventually marry his longtime girlfriend, their daughter even born there. TJ started his career as a firefighter in town.
I had so much bitter and kind of hate for Seminole just because of what happened there, and what better way to get rid of that and to try to give back to all the people that had helped me and supported me.
They since moved away again, and from his new home, TJ with this message to victims of abuse or those who witness it.
You are responsible for your future, and you can do great things regardless of where you came from. If you see something, say something, report it, and follow through with it.
Today, he is left with the physical scars and the lasting memories of his baby brother.
It's just haunting, knowing that his remains are just out there. I still miss him like crazy, but that's something that'll never go away.
I think so many people at home remember this story. And Zach, the big question all these years later remains, and that is what happened to Colton's body? What have you learned on this?
Well, that's right, guys. I've actually been talking with private investigators and the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. They tell me that there are talks right now to resume a search for Colton's body. They didn't have an exact timeline on when that might take place, though. And as for Rex and Rebecca, as far as anyone knows, they have still not admitted to any of the crimes or what they might have done with Colton's body. One of the major questions that, unfortunately, might not get answered.